Oh my goodness. Yeah, hello, everyone. It is really cold. It was just raining, earlier today. I wanted to give a message, about, how I think we're missing the point in all of this. I don't know if anyone's aware of like the upcoming crisis that's happening. I believe starting in November with the food stamp thing and everything like that. If you I believe I spoke about this in a video about how like people tend to use crisis to gain some sort of control. The whole point is to not be afraid right now, more than ever, and to really look at the bigger picture of what codependency can do. Like, this is clearly an unstable foundation, So when you lose it, everybody goes into a panic. Whatever conflict the government is having right now, that shouldn't even be, a problem for us. We shouldn't be put in jeopardy for that. So instead of freaking out, panicking, I think we should still try to move accordingly, but not in a way that's like reckless or like where we're incriminating ourselves, because that's not, if we are planning on raiding, that's not okay. Okay. I don't think you want to go to jail because the government is still active in that. Boycotting works. I don't know if we forgot about Martin Luther King and the whole Rosa Parks situation. But there's other ways to work around the system, Mine is working out just fine. It was Lilith's birthday, like on the 24th was her birthday. And then like we got like a massive abundance of just like food and everything like that. Like it was hella awesome. And there were like a bunch of birthday cakes, and I thought I was gonna have to go to the store and get her one. But I didn't have to do any of that. So, I don't know. You don't have to use my system. You can, but you need to find some sort of way to work around the system. And this is the way that works for me. So, like I said, I give a blueprint, as always. But I feel like the general message is that, like, we need to find a way to work around the system. Because this is not, it doesn't work in that way. Like, for example, with the whole, people are, during the whole George Floyd situation, basically, yes, police brutality has gone down, but fighting for reparations on top of that, I don't think somebody's going to want to give you money after, causing a riot like that, because now they have to pay for damaged property and stuff like that, like it. We cannot create a more contradictory system and create an unstable foundation. We work against another unstable foundation, don't steal. Okay. Don't steal. There should be no rioting. I can tell you from experience that, like, when you challenge a system with the most cordial and flat attitude, and you're showing that, like, you can still move through this without acting making a fool of yourself, then people tend to expose themselves or tend to make themselves, then they look crazy, even if they try that same approach on you, but you're still acting in the way that you're supposed to, and you know that you're not in the wrong, and you know it's not your fault, then, you know, they have nothing to work off of, and they have no choice but to, you know, want to keep that peace and whatnot. And well, what happens if we detach from the codependency? What happens when we detach? Well, then they realize, oh shoot, they don't need us anymore. Now look what we're doing. We look like middle schoolers, you know. like yeah, you know, don't be afraid of nobody that presents themselves as bigger than you, because they're not. And I should know a thing or two about fear, okay? Because I challenge it all the time. And we've already gained clarity that this government is not working for anybody but itself. So our codependency is just, you know, giving them more control. So, you know, I think it's time for everyone, including me, to just learn to branch away from the benefits that have so many ties to them, to where now we're in jeopardy for their unresolved conflict. This is an injustice to all of us, you know. And that's what Lilith is for, you know, to battle those kinds of injustices. And then she's there for those people who get cast away for doing that, for asking questions, for wanting to stand on their own and stuff, you know. Because then you'll realize that you don't need them, they need you. Imagine if all of us left the country, what they gonna do? What are they gonna do? What if we all gathered in a group and just decided to become what do we call nomads and just leave the country? What are they gonna do? In my opinion, that's the biggest form of boycotting that we can do right now. Like, you know, just leave. Leaving has worked for me. And I know for a fact, leaving and not looking back has definitely worked. Or just like pulling back your energy. It definitely works. And then when you break away from that contract, it'll, you know, you definitely freed yourself, you know. Now you leave somebody else feeling stuck. But yeah, you don't have to use my system to break the system. I just saw 1001 all the time. I've been saying that a lot, but yeah. But yeah. Whatever you do to break beyond the physical, whether that's prayer, you know, manifestation work, you know, whatever that is, you know, or if that's simply just working with the physical and, you know, focusing on some sort of career path, you know, that's really it, you know. But yeah, 11:11. But if we're I want you to know that you're stronger than these people, since they seem to not be able to come to, you know, a conclusion, and they're having a cat fight over it, you know. It's a great time to take our power back. Crazy we're a democracy, but then again it's like, you know, they don't want to turn to their own people for advice. Maybe they do, and they just, you know, well, no, not really, not really to where it feels like it necessarily matters. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have for today. Hope it was helpful. You know, remember, no fear, you know. I'm sorry, I kept looking at the moon this whole time. But yeah, love you guys. See you Tuesday. Bye.